Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack a psychological trap that catches pretty much all of us at some point. Today we're looking at the hidden cost of waiting for the perfect time to build our wealth. It is so incredibly easy to fall into this habit of just waiting. And today we're going to break down exactly why that happens.
Be honest with me here. How many times have you caught yourself saying, I'll start saving later? Or, I'll invest when things are just a little bit clearer. It's completely common. We all delay taking financial action because fundamentally, we want everything to feel totally safe, totally clear, and totally guaranteed before we make a move. We want the stars to perfectly align. But here's the massive elephant in the room. What if that perfect time literally never arrives? Throughout this explainer, we're going to see how waiting isn't actually a harmless, neutral choice at all. It's an active decision you're making every single day, and it comes with a massive, invisible cost to your future self. It essentially turns your most valuable asset, which is your time, into endless preparation instead of actual, tangible growth. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering the myth of perfect timing, why waiting feels so safe, the invisible cost of later, perfectionism and income traps, the absolute power of imperfect starts, and finally, we'll give you a concrete framework for action.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the myth of perfect timing and why we wait for ideal conditions. It's actually wild how reasonable our excuses sound in our own heads. We wait for a better salary, a totally stable market, more knowledge, maybe fewer life responsibilities, or that magical fresh start moment like New Year's Day. And honestly, on the surface, who wouldn't want to wait for those things? It sounds so logical. But the reality? Life is almost never perfectly aligned. The markets are always going to move up and down. Your job is always going to have some pressure. Unexpected stuff is always going to pop up. If you're waiting for a day with absolutely zero uncertainty, you're waiting for a day that simply doesn't exist. You've basically got this intense mental tug of war happening right now. On one hand, taking action feels incredibly risky, right? Your brain is screaming, what if I lose money? What if I make a mistake? But waiting? Well, waiting feels wonderfully safe. Your brain whispers, hey, at least I'm not doing anything risky. I can't fail if I don't start. Your brain is literally hardwired to protect you from immediate danger, so it gives waiting a completely false sense of security. You feel like you're being responsible because you're thinking about it, but let's be real, you're just stalling.
Moving right along to Section 2, why waiting feels safe, or the logic of fear. Have you ever fallen into the trap of fake preparation? It's a really sneaky one. This is basically delay brilliantly disguised as research. You know the drill. Scrolling endlessly through financial news, stressing about the economy, and promising yourself that you'll start really soon, all without ever taking a single concrete step. We use all these responsible-sounding words like research or strategy as an excuse to just keep uncomfortable decisions at arm's length. We do it to avoid the heavy reality check of actually looking at our spending habits and our real debts. And just think about how this compounds over the years. In your 20s, you skip saving because, well, the amounts feel way too small to even matter. Then in your 30s, you delay investing because you've got a mortgage or kids and you just want to wait until things settle down. That little word later feels so totally harmless in the moment, doesn't it? But it quickly becomes a permanent state of delay. The pressure quietly builds up in the background until, bam, a crisis hits, a medical emergency, a sudden job loss. Suddenly, you're forced to act in a total panic, desperately wishing you had started years ago when the waters were calm. That brings us to Section 3, the invisible cost of later, because doing nothing absolutely costs you. We love to trick ourselves into believing that only taking an action counts as making a choice. We think, hey, I didn't decide anything, I just didn't do anything. But with money, doing absolutely nothing is 100% an active choice. Deciding not to save or not to learn about investing isn't some neutral middle ground. It is a direct decision to let inflation slowly eat away at your buying power. It's a decision to walk the tightrope without a safety net when life inevitably pushes you. Waiting might protect you from feeling uncomfortable today, but it absolutely guarantees your situation won't get any better tomorrow. I really want you to let this thought sink in. Every time you wait unnecessarily, you are choosing comfort for your present self at the cost of stress for your future self. Seriously, try to imagine your future self as a real, living, breathing person sitting across from you. Maybe they're dealing with a health scare or trying to change careers. The financial choice you make today is basically a moral choice between your comfort right now and their peace of mind later. Are you sending a gift forward in time to that person, or are you just dumping more heavy lifting onto their plate? All right, Section 4, perfectionism and income traps, which are the ultimate excuses for waiting. So many of us think, oh, I'll finally get serious about this when I double my salary. But let's look at how that usually plays out. In year 1, sure, your salary is low, but your expenses are too. Then by year 3, your salary bumps up to medium, but magically, your expenses rise right along with it. By year 5, you're making a high salary, but your lifestyle has inflated so much that your expenses are just as high. Just making more money doesn't automatically fix weak financial habits. Lifestyle creep sneaks right in, and your desires just scale up perfectly with your paycheck. And here is a really tough pill to swallow. If you can't find the discipline to save, say, just 1,000 rupees from what you're earning right now, you are going to struggle just as much to save 10,000 from a much bigger income later on. You don't just magically inherit financial discipline the second you become wealthy. You have to build that discipline to get wealthy in the first place. Which leads us perfectly into the perfectionism trap. We literally paralyze ourselves waiting for this feeling of complete knowledge that, let's face it, never actually arrives. You convince yourself you can't possibly start until you have the ultimate, flawless plan. But the real game changer? Starting with limited knowledge and just committing to learn as you go. Perfectionism demands a risk-free, perfect plan. But the truth is, wealth building rewards imperfect, consistent action way more than it rewards perfect intentions that you never actually execute. You don't need a flawless, lifelong system. You just need a simple plan that you actually follow. Section 5, the power of imperfect starts. How to act inside imperfection. So what does this actually look like in real life? Well, balanced action means learning the core principles first. It means steering clear of super complex financial products that you don't fully understand, starting with very small amounts of money, diversifying so you minimize your risk, and just checking in on your decisions periodically. We are absolutely not advocating for reckless, blind risk here. Not at all. We're talking about thoughtful, measured movement that stops your natural caution from turning into complete paralysis. I'm going to challenge you with a pretty tough question right now. What have you actually done in the last 30 days that changed your financial path? And I mean actually done. Not just watched videos about it, not just daydreamed about winning the lottery, not just worried about inflation. What action did you take? Did you set up an auto transfer? Did you cancel a subscription you don't use? Honestly, ask yourself if your recent waiting time was genuine preparation or if you're just avoiding taking control because taking action feels a little too real. And finally, Section 6, your framework for action. It is time to stop waiting and start now. Okay, here are 4 super straightforward steps. Feel free to take a mental screenshot here. Step 1, just choose one area to focus on. Saving, investing, crushing debt, or dialing in your spending. Please don't try to fix the whole shebang at once. Step 2, define one small, crystal clear action. Step 3, pick a start date within the next 7 days. Not next month, not when the year changes, this week. And step 4, commit to this action for just 3 months. Forget perfection, just aim for consistency. Check back in after 90 days. It's an incredibly simple, safe way to start right now and refine things later. Because at the end of the day, your money responds to your actual behavior, not your good intentions. Life is never going to hand you an official, gold-embossed invitation to start building your wealth. Time is just going to quietly keep marching forward, whether you jump in or not. Waiting just keeps all your future gifts securely wrapped in a box, but never, ever delivered. I'm going to leave you with this one provocative thought today. When you picture that future version of yourself, are you going to give tomorrow's you more work and pain or more support and peace? Your money doesn't need you to be perfect. You don't need to be a Wall Street expert right out of the gate. Your money just needs you to be brave enough to start today, even while things are still a little uncertain. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you the spark you need to finally take that first step.